ये poster poster screen it's okay मुझे लग रहा है कि स्क्रीन ना थोड़ी नजदीक ज्यादा है Hello everyone, so welcome to this YouTube live session. I think some of you have already joined in. Let's get started with the questions. The first one here is, after visa lodged, employment verification is compulsory. J depends on employment related documents. Okay, good question. Usually JD verifications hoti hain jo, okay, how do I do this, talk in English, Hindi, Punjabi. Let's go. So जो employments होती हैं ऑस्ट्रेलिया स्किल्ड माइग्रेशन के लिए, ये बहुत हद तक आपके क्वालिटी ऑफ डॉक्यूमेंट्स पे भी डिपेंड करता है. So you're working for a corporate company, आपके पास सारे tax returns हैं, and you know that the company does exist and has sufficient evidence online. There is a lesser probability of a verification. अगर आपकी एक छोटी कंपनी है जिसका उनको ऑनलाइन को इतना प्रेजेंस नहीं मिल रहा है, या उनको लगता है कि probably you might be working in that company but not within the role that claimed, in that case verification हो सकती है. Hello ma'am, financial investment advisor with 100 points for 491. When can I expect an invitation? Good question. Invitation rounds January 2026. As soon as they're done with the Christmas break, will be started after that. You can expect the invitation round to happen. You're sitting at extremely good points. So I don't think you really have anything to be worried about. Ma'am, in past onshore round, veterinary nurse are receiving invites for 190 visa at 190 and 491 visa at 100 points. So what can I expect at 85 points for 491 visa? Now remember, as I've always shared in my previous videos, 491 visas are not granted on the basis of higher points. As long as your occupation falls within that state's occupation list and to see basic criteria meet karte ho, jaise ki for example Northern Territory has a minimum criteria of recent 3 work experience. All states have their own individual criteria. As long as you meet the criteria, you can expect an invitation. So 85 points is definitely good. I have applied my EOI in January 2025 with 85 points in occupation. Okay, sorry, I've already answered that. Engineering technologist, 85 points. Onshore, was Western Australia, any chance? Sorry, I'll not be able to answer that. We are catering specifically to offshore applicants, and our specialization in Australia, skilled migration, is for offshore applicants. I think you might want to check with some onshore applicants on that. We will be answering all questions related to those who are applying from outside of Australia. Sorry about that. When will nomination rounds begin? As I shared, as soon as they're done with their Christmas break, January is the time when we expect the invitation rounds to start. Ma'am, I've applied as a massage therapist with 75 points for 491. By what time can I expect a nomination? So first of all, you need to see which all states does your occupation fall under. Now, I think this occupation was eligible in Northern Territory, and we've done some direct applications also, but now this occupation has been removed for direct applications. So you'll have to see which all states have your occupation listed, and January onwards, the nomination invitation should start. Till now, states are only inviting onshore candidates. Is this trend is going to continue, or we can expect offshore rounds in future, and when we can expect these offshore invitation rounds? So yeah, that's a good question again. Yes, we have seen that so far the states have been prioritizing 189 invites as well as onshore, but they have also very categorically stated that the invitation rounds, especially South Australia has mentioned that the invitation rounds for offshore applicants will commence from January onwards, and we do expect monthly invitation rounds to happen then. Hi, ma'am. IT professional occupations are demanded in Australia at present. Look, IT occupations also happen to fall under the MLTSSL list. So IT professionals do have the option of applying for a direct PR without seeking a state nomination. But at this point of time, 189 visa is not putting IT professionals on priority. Therefore, ICT professionals are highly recommended or advised that they look for 190 or 491 as alternatives. And when the Northern Territory direct applications opened and we launched about 100 applications in about 2 days, there were IT occupations as well that we launched, but unfortunately, the quota for those occupations was exhausted very soon. And right now, the direct applications are currently not open for IT applicants. But yes, there are states where your occupation is demand, so you should watch out for the invitations that can happen anytime after the January Christmas break. But ma'am, financial investment advisor occupation has been removed from all the states except Victoria. Need a genuine advice from you. Okay, so you need to look at it this way. Occupation अगर किसी भी state से remove होता है, that is very, very temporary. Now, please understand, before the quota was handed over to all the states, some were not there, but South Australia included them. But when they got a very limited quota for the year 25-26, they had to remove certain occupations. So for financial investment advisors, realistically, I really don't see Victoria issuing any invitations in this year. So financial investment advisors should be looking at invitations coming after the 1st of July 2026. Hi, good evening, ma'am. For which states can a hairdresser receive nomination and chances? So hairdressers are trades professionals. Right now, if you're a hairdresser and you're looking for a nomination with just 6 pans and 3 years of experience, go ahead and apply in Northern Territory. Sorry, Northern Territory. You can put up a direct application right now. You don't have to wait for a nomination from any state. Ma'am, I submitted EOI in 2024 October in web design occupation in Australia for 491, 70 points, but I not received invitation. Now, please understand this. For the migration year 25-26, so far, literally no invitations have been issued to offshore applicants. Yes, we did receive some invitations under the interim quota, but ever since the states have been issued a full quota for the migration year 25-26, which was done very, very late this year. So far, the invitation rounds, the full invitation rounds are yet to begin. So you can pin your hopes from January 2026 onwards. Ma'am, what is the scenario for tutor at 70 points, 491? So for private tutors at this point of two, since this occupation has been removed temporarily from South Australia, it has always been there on South Australia's list. It's not there right now. I do not see invitations coming through for private tutors before 1st of July 2026. Having said that, there's nothing to panic. This occupation will be brought back into South Australia's list after 1st of July. Ma'am, which states are more offshore friendly? All right, so well, in 2023, NSW was very, very offshore friendly. In fact, all the backlog of applications that we had, literally, other than just the occupation retail buyer and private tutor, all our applicants had got their nominations. We received invitations for visas and nominations in hundreds. So South Australia and NSW are considered to be very offshore friendly states. But I'm surprised this time Northern Territory is also seemingly offshore friendly, provided your occupation is there. Uh, Ma'am, what are the chances about the educational sector? So, when we talk about the educational sector, we are primarily talking about school teachers, we're talking about school principals, librarians, vocational education teachers, university lecturers. So, definitely very good score in 190 subclass and 491. And if your points are very high, still the likelihood of 189 for university lecturers is low, so they should consider 190. My question is whether private tutors should further renew their vetassess assessments or not, because South Australia has removed this occupation. I don't feel there is much hope. Please advise. Very good question, Mandeep. This is a concern with a lot of private tutors who think, see, normally what happens is, आप लोग क्या करते हो कि you first look at the occupation list, state occupation list. देन यू से कि हाँ इस ऑक्यूपेशन की अवेलेबिलिटी इस स्टेट में है, इस ऑक्यूपेशन की अवेलेबिलिटी इस स्टेट में, सो लेट्स गो विद दिस ऑक्यूपेशन. प्लीज रिमेंबर, ये जो occupation lists होती हैं states की, it's a very fluid kind of a thing. They keep on changing. It's very, very temporary. So do not hesitate to apply for a certain occupation just because it's currently not listed on a state or any state. Go for that occupation if you're genuinely working in that occupation, because the occupation you will be selecting is likely to become available in some state sooner or later, because the occupation you're getting a positive skills assessment or a suitable skills assessment for happens to be on the STSOL, ROL, or MLTSSL. As long as that is there, you have nothing to be worried. Okay. क्या मैम इस साल इनवाइट मिल सकता? क्या 490 इस साल में सिर्फ 2 दिन रह गए हैं, सो नहीं, अभी उनकी क्रिसमस ब्रेक चल रही, इस साल में नहीं मिल सकता है. बट यस, after they come back from the Christmas break, which will be around 5th, 6th, 7th of January, we expect invitation rounds to happen soon. Hi, ma'am. I am a great follower of you. I'm a web developer and designer and have more than 8 years of experience in this field. Am I eligible for Australia migration, and in which occupation? Good question. Now, since your role is across two different occupations, web designer and web developer, developer is an occupation that is assessed by Australian Computer Society, and their eligibility criteria is very tough. You need to have Form 26AS, which a lot of companies do not issue for their employees, the traces form. So it is better to go with the occupation web designer, which is assessed by vetassess, because for that you don't need Form 26AS. As long as you have verifiable evidence of having received salary, you will get a suitable skills assessment. I have 3 years of experience as a welder, all employment in cash in hand, only one tax return. My skill assessment is possible? Yes, it is possible. So the various trades or all the bodies that assess trainees do understand that trade persons like plumbers, carpenters, and hairdressers, cooks, welders, etc. वो लोग आमतौर पे ऐसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस में काम कर रहे होते हैं जहां पे उनको कैश में ही सैलरी मिलती है. So that's not really a problem. Even if you have 1 year return, you're good to go. What about the few stuck applications of 2022? I'm one of them. Replied to all S56 on time. Complained to GFU. Also complained on Global Service Center, but still waiting for my grant. What I can do now? So obviously I'm assuming a somebody जिनकी already DHA में application lodged है. देखिए GFU feedback unit में आप जाके अपनी frustration निकाल सकते हैं, but that's not going to help you in any way. The DHA has faced a shortage in terms of the visa officers in the past, but what I can see is that they have almost cleared the queue up till July end or August end 2023. Yes, I know they've taken very long, but the decisions are coming in really fast, almost on a day-to-day basis. So you can expect your decision, especially since you mentioned you provided documentation related to S56. Now you can expect a decision anytime soon. Sorry if I'm missing some question. It's going really rapidly. I've lodged my application for invitation and financial investment advisor at 80 points in September 2024. When will I expect to get invitation? Like I shared earlier, um, Victoria, I honestly do not have hopes on Victoria. So you can probably write into us. We'll revisit what all states have your occupation listed, and then we can get back to you on this. 2026 में इनवाइट मिल सकता है, ये तो नहीं कि हमारी स्किल्स असेसमेंट एक्सपायर्ड हो जाए। वेल अगर आपकी हो भी जाएगी, आप इसे न्यू भी करवा सकते हैं। तो यस, क्योंकि अभी मेजर इन्विटेशन राउंड्स तो कंडक्ट हुए ही नहीं है, वो भी होने हैं। सो जनवरी से लेके जून एंड तक इट्स गोइंग टू बी वेरी क्रिटिकल एरिया, वेरी क्रिटिकल टाइम पीरियड व्हेन we do expect invitations to come through. Now, if you do not get an invitation and your skills assessment does expire, you can always get it renewed, which will be valid for another 3 years. Feeling frustrated seeing many candidates waiting from 2024 but not received invite yet. I'm also waiting from Jan 2025. Can I expect invitation for this year? आप तो 2025 में आए हैं, यहाँ पे लोग 23 से भी वेट कर रहे हैं. See, what had happened was, I mean, and that's entirely my personal take on this. In 2023, जब NSW ने direct applications, nominations की open की थी, lots and lots of people had received nominations and the visa applications were lodged. जब DHA ने इन applications को process करना शुरू किया, they realized that these applications lacked the quality they expect in terms of verifiable evidence. So probably the skills assessment bodies were asked to revise their requirements for issuing suitable assessments to the clients. And keeping in line with that, there has been a delay. Now, once the people are getting the positive skills assessment based on the new criteria, the DH is sure that the assessments that are being granted now are being, they are sure-footed and they are aligned with what they expect. And yes, we can expect the nominations to come through very soon. Hello, ma'am. Can we start a case with irrelevant occupation like I am BCom holder? Can I apply as graphic designer? Oh, good question. So, for occupations that are assessed by vetassess, remember vetassess is the largest assessing body. There are few occupations for which you need highly relevant qualification. They have classified the occupations in categories A, B, C, D, and E. Only if your occupation falls in group A, you need a highly relevant qualification. Otherwise, you're obviously going to get a negative outcome. Now, you are saying you've done BCom and you're a graphic designer. So BCom is not a highly relevant qualification for a graphic designer. So you will need at least 3 years of work experience as a graphic designer in the last 5 years to get a positive skills assessment. So the answer is yes, you can get it. What are the chances for cybersecurity engineer and what is the eligibility criteria for it? Again, cybersecurity engineer IT का कोई भी हो, that is not assessed by Engineers Australia. All IT related occupations are assessed by ACS. Cybersecurity is one of the futuristic occupations the DH is focusing on. So check out the occupation list on the ACS website and you should be able to find information on cybersecurity. Yes, there's a lot of demand for cybersecurity professionals. मैम आप बता सकते हैं स्टेट ने कहाँ तक बैकलॉग क्लियर कर लिया है for like that is no. This information is not public. The states do not disclose this information. I've completed my BCom in 2019, but I don't have a question here. Hello, ma'am. I have lodged my file for invitation in web design at 75 points in October 2024. When can we expect the invitation? You can expect invitations to come through in any of the monthly rounds conducted by various states every month. I'm guessing beginning from mid of January 2026 onwards. Um, Hello, ma'am. I've submitted a direct application in NT with the occupation of university lecturer. Could you please let me know when can we expect the nomination? Okay. So the state of Northern Territory, जहाँ पे लोगों ने direct applications की हुई. Remember, university lecturer was an occupation listed on Northern Territory's list of direct applications, but the occupation got exhausted. Today, this occupation is not for direct application. For those of you who've lodged an application, you can expect the processing, let's say the decision, anytime between January to June. So they have not given us an exact date, but they have communicated to lodge the applications that from January onwards, we will start processing the applications lodged by offshore applicants. Um, Good evening, ma'am. What are the chances for mixed crop farmer? Good question again. Mixed crop farmer is an occupation जिसमें आपके लिए 65 points are also enough. Since there hasn't been an invitation round lately, a lot of mixed crop farmers feel that probably they do not have stand any chance. Mixed crop farmers are very likely to get invitations. Remember, anybody who's a mixed crop farmer, probably this may be your last chance, because once Oscar is replaced once Oscar replaces Ansco, mixed crop farmer is an occupation that is going to be removed unless you are a broadacre farmer. Hi, ma'am. I lodged SA 190, South Australia 190 in December 2024. Haven't received any S56 request yet. Any idea when I can get a grant? So, as I shared, you've currently they are around, working around July or August 2023. For some cases where your occupation happens to be falling in priority sectors or critical sectors such as education, health, and construction, they are giving out decisions for applications lodged in January or even March 2024. But since you mentioned that you've not mentioned your occupation, so if your occupation is in the critical sector, you can expect it soon. Otherwise, it could take some time. Hi, could you let know the status of university lecture under 190, 491 having 80, 90 points? It's been almost 2 years. What are your views for South Australia and Northern Territory? As I shared, Northern Territory had made this occupation available for direct application, but now this occupation is no longer available for Northern Territory. As far as South Australia is concerned, yes, you can definitely expect South Australia to give you an invitation because it is a critical sector occupation, and South Australia is very likely to send out invitations for this occupation. Madam, I lodged in आ सकता है on DHA website. Processing time is 28 months. So yeah, this is very unfortunate. When they started with the 491 visa, the bait that was given by the DHA was that 491 is going to be a priority visa. So you can expect a decision in 7 months. But वो आगे करते करते now they're sitting at 28 months. But just because the estimated processing time is 28 months does not mean that it's really going to take that long. Since you are a welder, you are a tradie. Tradies are needed in Australia on urgent basis, and it is quite likely that they prioritize your occupation. I want to shift to Australia. What's the process? Well, please share your CV. We need to check your occupation eligibility, and then we can advise you on that. Hello, ma'am. What are the chances for engineering professionals or from many states as a mechanical engineer? This was also available in Northern Territory for direct applications, but nothing to be worried. For 190 or 491 nominations, are very likely to get invitations because for 189, yes, it's tough, but 190 and 491, yes. My advice to those of you there is a lot of you prefer 190, whereas 190 का जो मैंने देखा हुआ है एक एक फॉर्मूला जो ऑलमोस्ट हर स्टेट में वर्क करता है. They prefer giving 190 nomination to those whose occupations are either on the MLTSSL list or fall in education, health, and construction sector. If your occupation is out of these sectors, beyond these sectors, they will not give you, they're likely not to give you 190 invitation. Try and pitch 491 nomination instead. I have 3 experience as a painter in India, and I want to apply for a skill assessment as a painter, all employment. Painter, what kind of painter? So if you are saying that you are like a wall painter, no, you need to have a qualification. But if you're talking about a vehicle painter or something, so I'm not sure what painter you're talking about. So basically the thumb rule is that if you are a tradie, a tradesperson, you basically need 5 years of work experience for non-licensed occupations, and 6 years of work experience for licensed occupation, even if you do not have any qualification. Ma'am, please tell me about PR Australia. Can GNM nursing apply for this visa? Yes, GM nursing can apply for this visa. There are certain occupations that do give you a positive assessment for occupations associated with a GNM qualification. Um, Again, it's about financial investment advisor. Hi, ma'am. Could you please let me know about university? I already answered that. Ma'am, good work, you and your team. My file process with CAAN Wings. Great, thanks. Thank you so much. Ma'am, my experience in web designer, 9 years until date doing job. I apply visa subclass 491 and points is 70 and lodge EOI, ROI in October 24. Can I any hope? Okay, so I guess you're saying you're a web designer. Well, you can expect invitation. Your points are good to go. For 491, your points do not matter. 190, you're very unlikely to receive 190. States are going to focus on skill shortages, data given job and skill Australia for choosing candidates. So, okay, so a lot of you happen to go to certain websites where they give a monthly analysis on the job outlook. Please understand that the skilled migration policy does not need to be necessarily aligned with the data that you're looking at, because that data also applies to those working within Australia and is not specifically relevant to those who are seeking to migrate to Australia. Um, Hello, ma'am. After 12th, can we apply for this visa? I don't know which visa you're asking about. Sorry. Ma'am, I've applied in South Australia, Northern Territory, ACT, Victoria, and Tasmania state. When will these states start invitation round? So all states are expected to start the invitation rounds for offshore applicants anytime in anytime in Jan 2026. Respected ma'am, what are the requirements for school teachers such as band and IELTS as well as B.Ed? Very good question. So school teachers, be they primary teachers or secondary teachers, have very stringent requirements. So जो school teachers होती हैं, academic school teachers होती हैं, जो कि primary and secondary school teachers होती हैं, उनको सबसे पहले जो body assess करती है, that is AITSL. So the requirement for school teachers is to have a B.Ed with at least 45 days of practical teacher training, और ये 45 days of practical teacher training आपके यूनिवर्सिटी के सिलेबस में स्पेसिफाइड होनी चाहिए. Now we do come across some people who say कि my agent got my college to write. No, that will not work. As long as आपके यूनिवर्सिटी सिलेबस में नहीं लिखा हुआ कि इस B.Ed के बाद 45 days of practical teacher training mandatory है, it's not going to work. But if you have that, in addition to that, you have to take your IELTS academic before applying for skills assessment. IELTS academic, 7 bands in writing, 7 bands in reading, and 8 bands in listening, 8 bands in speaking. This is their basic criteria if you're looking to get a positive assessment as a school teacher. Ma'am, please give me contact number of your office. Okay, it's 78498 78498. You can check it on our website as well. Hello, ma'am. Please share your views about university lecture and upcoming invitation rounds. So I already talked about that. University lecturers have been getting invitations for 189 in the past, but now according to the recent data released, University lecturers are probably in the fourth tier as far as 189 is concerned. So there is low possibility of university lecturers. But for 190 and 491, they are going to be given the topmost priority. um, Ma'am, you're my registered migration agent, and I'm really feeling positive to grab an invite in this financial year under your supervision. Thank you so much, Limitless Gagan. And this surely is not your real name, but thank you so much. Hi, ma'am. Can we expect 491 or 190 invitation rounds for software development in January 2026? I'm not saying in January, I'm saying January onwards. Yes. So I think we also need to watch out for time. It's already 4:30. There are lots of questions, and I think we will probably take it on again very soon. We will post when our next YouTube live is going to be. There's so many questions. I wish I could go on and on. Now my throat is drying, and my technical team is telling me to stop. So thank you so much for joining, and I look forward to being with you all again. Share with us any questions. If you have any queries, feel free to write into us at inquiries@caanwings.com, or give us a call on 78498 78498.
बजा के कितनी है